Well, hello everybody. I'll give it that minute to let people log on. Just getting flooded with the Druthers report, the 14,000 shares, likes, loves on the protests in BC. Lock up Bill Gates. Then we have the lunatic left and the narratives that we gotta get ready to get into lockdowns and yada, yada, yada. It's got to be talked about because as of absolutely Christmas time, all world numbers and results, and I look at this every day, folks. Every day I look at the COVID numbers. Notice how I never talk about it anymore? Notice how I never talk about it anymore? I don't talk about it, not since Christmas. Like, we're going months now. You won't find any posts about COVID-19 from me. Because, I'm going to say it again, for all those who don't get it, endemic. Endemic. Can you all say that? Endemic. Now, the alt-left and the alt-right keep these narratives going that somehow we got to keep fighting and fighting and fighting. The left wants to brace for impact. I'm going to tell you COVID numbers. Vaccinated fully, unvaccinated completely anti-vax, doesn't matter. Endemic. All statistics in Canada clearly point to endemic. Endemic. Doesn't matter if you got fully vaccinated or you never got any shot at all. COVID-19, as it stands since Christmas to now, is endemic. What does that mean? Go look at the death rates of COVID-19. Even with that, in Ontario, for example, the only 13% that remains unvaccinated or partially vaccinated. The rest, death stats go down. Even the unvaccinated, death stats go down. These were the death stats, and there's an argument for vaccines because death stats up here, but that's where we're at today over many months. As I clearly stated, right at Christmas, folks, I got the Malawi results. I got lots of stuff you don't even hear in Canada because they don't want to tell you. The left has a lunatic narrative. The alt-right's got a radical narrative. And the reality is they're both out to lunch because nobody's saying what nearly clearly has to be said. Again and again, I'm going to say it. Endemic. I don't wear a mask anymore. I'm not going to follow any restrictions, any government stuff. I chose to get triple vaccinated. It's all on each and every one of you to decide how you want to protect your family, whichever way you see fit. But we're endemic, so it doesn't even matter anymore. China. 25,000 cases a day. What are the death statistics? What are these looming hospitalization rates? Low. In fact, they're so low, folks. It's called endemic. Communist China has a zero COVID policy. It's a great way to enact autocracy. A lot of governments have used it. I get it, folks. Canada's used it. Everybody uses it to cement more stranglehold, more autocracy, more power for the political elite. But at the end of the day, folks, numbers don't lie. Death rates, serious hospitalizations, all intersect. If you're worried about it, go get vaccinated. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. Those unvaccinated, I don't know why you care. I'm in one of the worst provinces. Anywhere I really want to go, I don't have to wear a mask. If I want to utilize the hospital system, be prepared to go through sanitation, slap on your mask. Hey, I get it. There's people in situations that don't need me bringing more disease to them. I can accept that. I'm not a frequent flyer of the hospitals or the clinics or the rest of it. I don't know what to tell people anymore. Since Christmas, clearly it is endemic. We can thank natural selection, evolution, Darwinism, the God above. Doesn't matter what narrative you want to go with. Doesn't matter. The statistics, the numbers I gravitate to, clearly and explicitly, since Christmas till today, right across Canada, endemic. If you don't know what that means, I suggest you go grab your Canadian Oxford Dictionary, go look it up. And if you just still don't feel good, go check out Webster's Dictionary, go look it up. If you don't even feel good about that, go grab Russia's Lexigalos, go run through endemic. They have some variations in that term, but the reality is all the same. That's a period when a virus is no longer of a massive concern, that it wishes, as it's evolved, to live in the human system, still will drain you. There are complications with that. But as death rates go, serious complications, it's not where it was anymore. The virus has changed. It's different. Whatever people want to say, the left's got nothing, the alt-right's got nothing, and in the end, we're in endemic. That's not the same for everybody. Like I said, I get it for hospitals, I get it for clinics, I get it for people who are compromised immune-wise, whether that's cancer treatment, whether that's you've had some kind of organ replaced and you're taking drugs that suppresses your immune system. Hey, I get it. I have loved ones too. Older people who've gotten to that age where the systems are just breaking down. I get it, folks. I get it. Administer your protections for yourself. There ain't going to be no radical left anymore as it stands. Now, unless some new virus comes along or new thing, the last time that happened for us folks in this serious level of what was COVID-19 before December, right around Christmas. So, you can say, hey, that was God above or whatever you want to call it. Or that was just freak accident. Evolution's ended up there. You have a right to believe whatever you want, but I'm going to say it again for the umpteenth time. As I've said for months, it's endemic now, folks. Endemic. I don't see a variation of the virus that's going to lead to a massive concern. It's really, guys, really a serious flu. Does it got a little bit now on influenza? Sure. But in time, folks, you're going to be able to get exactly the same drugs you get for the cold and influenza. Treatable drugs at home and carry on with your day. We're going to live with this virus now. There's no reason to go any other way unless you're loony left and you want to use it to suppress society and force socialism, or you're an alt-right fantastic radical who just wants to destroy the system and carry on in a blubber and baby situation. It's endemic. I'm not going to entertain COVID anymore because the numbers tell me, move along, children, move along. I love numbers. I love statistics. You're never going to get one on me. I've given people opportunities from every walk. The radical left, the radical right. Oh no, it's this, it's that. Arrest Bill Gates. Your government's to blame. And yes, there's a lunatic left attachment to that. But there is also a lunatic right who more than fully embraces that kind of financial power over all of you. So don't even try to tell me that there's a conservative element here that doesn't see the money. Because they most certainly do. And they're just as attached to all those companies as anybody else. And all the legislation that happens in Canada is not by Bill Gates. It's not by George Soros. As bad and as wrong as these people are, these greed, need for power, money, and wealth to dominate over other human beings, as bad as they are, they didn't get here on their own or their own merit. Because I can promise you, it's laws that allow them to operate in your country. Laws from two specific parties, liberals and conservatives. I can go through all kinds of history if I gave a shit about it. But I don't, because it's endemic. Is it wrong, all the lunatic left narratives and the radical right narratives we wrestled with as Canadians all through the pandemic, as we watched all brands of politicians? Absolutely NDP, absolutely conservatives. Sorry, folks. And ultimately, yes, liberals with the command of the country under their hands, the direct contact with these billionaires you all hate. And then the radical medical community that wants the ultimate of socialism. Pay untold fortunes, destroy the primary sector, wipe out the small businesses. You ain't getting one on me. I get the autocracy. But for that lunatic left and that radical right, at the end of the day, folks, again, endemic. None of you got a leg to stand on anymore. You ain't making me wear a mask with the numbers that are of today, that have just been going like this since Christmas. I watched it months ago go, sayonara, COVID-19. Sayonara. Is it still somewhat of a dangerous disease? Absolutely, it trumps influenza. It does. But at what level? There is a point, a line, where you say, this is no longer a drastic, serious economic concern. And to prove my point, people, you've now got into Russia. Ukraine dominates all narrative. COVID, a distant memory. Now, why would that be, folks? Because the alt-right and the alt-left have a new narrative, a new boogeyman to add to the autocracy. Because you got to wave goodbye to COVID-19. Endemic. Endemic. I'm going to keep saying it. Endemic, 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 endemic. It's over. It's over. I could care less about anyone's narratives. I've given everybody from the alt-right, the alt-left, all kinds of months, all the way up to Christmas and then shortly after, months to provide me with some real data, real numbers to support anything any of you are saying. Nobody could. Not a one Canadian soul. Not a one. And you know what? Experts all went like this. I'm not even getting involved. No, I already gave my opinion. Hey, this is what it is. I'm sorry, that's the numbers. Real, credible, verifiable ones. And then there's the ones bought by government, either side of the aisle, and then those gravitating to the lunatics of the left and the radicals of the right. You're always going to have it in the design of Canada. Nobody's brought forward any credibility in their super fake narratives. You're talking to a guy who's a statistician, a visual mathematician. I'll outread 99% of people who come forward. I've got all kinds of doctorates all over the world in other areas and avenues. I went through COVID-19. I supported a lot of narratives for the first year, before the vaccines. After the vaccines, I gotta say, hey, and you know what? The virus still turned endemic. And as of Christmas 2021, endemic, folks. If you don't like that, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to entertain any more radicals. I'm not going to engage in COVID-19. The radical right, the lunatic left, you got no statistics anymore on COVID-19. Astronomical reductions in death rates, astronomical reductions in everything. People coming to me after 31 million Ontarian injections, meaning from 1 dose to 2 dose to 3 dose. You're going to come to me with, oh my God, 500 and blah, blah, blah cases of mitochondritis out of 31 million doses in the province of Ontario. You guys, percentage-wise, you have a better chance of getting hit by a car and losing your life if you walk to your job more than 10 blocks each and every day, 7 days a week for the rest of your life. That's the kind of statistical number. That's real math. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not going to entertain anymore. This is my absolute last video about COVID-19 and any narratives from the radical right or the lunatic left. It's endemic. Get used to it. I don't know how many years everyone's going to need to figure this out, but it's endemic. You have to have statistical numbers of extreme death rates and extreme hospitalizations to support your narratives. We got hit with that new variant, Omicron. Now there's a B, which again is even more limited as their numbers keep going down. Who cares how many people are infected? Who cares? If there's not serious medical repercussions, there's not serious death rates attached, I don't want to hear it. If it defines in the definition of endemic, you must accept it. Something you're going to live with. Don't get all stressed out. I know I'm not. I chose to get vaccinated. I got none of the problems. I guess I'm one of the lucky individuals who never got hit by a car in my life, or because I actually did get in an accident in that situation once in my life, I guess I'm free of COVID. I rolled the right dice and the right statistic because I never got heart problems. I never got anything else from the vaccine that radical right states, all these things are going to happen to you. We got no evidence, but it's going to all happen to you, even though the numbers suggest clearly in real stats that's never going to happen for a vast majority of anybody. It's a small minority, extremely small minority with many zeros behind it. Sorry, guys. Or in front of it, I should say, with a decimal point. It just gets to the point of pathetic. The alt-left, the loony left, has no legs to stand on. And they're actually out there praying. Just as nutty as the right is the lunatic left, where they're praying for numbers to explode. Advanced socialism, forced environmental, all these things we're going to use the pandemic for. Ain't going to happen. I'm sorry. You want to hear real science? Viruses evolve. They're not really alive, not really dead. They're half of the sequence. When you look at DNA, it's an RNA structure. Not really well understood, much smaller than the living human cell. And I'm sorry, fanatics, left or right, nobody can create life. The greatest expert on cells today, with the largest budget from the European Union, which trumps everybody in the world, who actually tries to make cells, living cells, pop, just, we're not there yet. We definitely don't have tools to manufacture viruses. Can you mess with them in animals and or not human, I'm not going to say that because we don't know that, but animals in labs and growing things, and sure, you can speed up that somewhat evolutionary process. I definitely believe that's possible. You want to talk biological warfare? Sure, it's not even that complicated. But the reality is, folks, we're endemic. Doesn't matter if somebody played around like that or not. This COVID-19, endemic. And there's no numbers, nowhere to prove that it's not endemic. Who cares how many people are infected? Is there a percentage of the population negatively impacted by it? Sure. But that number keeps going down. Regardless, all groups are unvaccinated, disproportionately represented? Absolutely. In Canada? Absolutely. Look at the sheer numbers of vaccinations. In the tens of millions of doses. 31 million the first shot. And we go through there. I haven't looked at it. I think it's about 80 million total shots in Canada. I would think it's somewhere around there. I'd have to go look. Last time I kind of grazed over it a week ago, I think it was almost hitting 80 million total shots. That's first or both or even triple. There's no massive stats of people dying from the shots. There's none. There's no massive stats of people in the COVID since Christmas, because those all go down, regardless of your status, vaccinated, unvaccinated. And I'm going to say it again, people, until somebody can bring me any real numbers, which for over 4 months, not one soul in Canada, from the radical left, the lunatic left, or the radical right, has brought forward anything to suggest any of their narratives are credible. I got all the numbers. I got them from all over the world, even locations that Canada wishes not to present. even Malawi. That massive testing of those through the AIDS files. The first round, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave. You know what, folks? 80% of the vials, COVID-19. We got real statistics and impacts. And guess what we got at the end today? Well, at least by Christmas. Endemic. That's not good for the left. It's not even good for the radical right. That's it, guys. Share, share, share. It's worth it. If there were stats that I could bring forward, say, oh, we got a disaster, oh, the overreach, I would present it. But it's endemic, 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 endemic. That's all I got to tell people. Yeah, I don't really care if you're vaccinated or not, or I'm not doing any restrictions, I'm not doing any of this, because we're in endemic. The numbers keep going down. All groups. So I don't want to hear anymore. And I don't want to entertain, I'm this or I'm that, or those people, these people. That's over. It's over. It's over. We've got a lot of narratives that don't hold water from the lunatic left and the radical right. And you know what? No matter what creative accounting either group wants to do, the mainstream and mainstream science and mainstream religions, the bulk, aren't into it anymore. They're not into it anymore. Too many people see it clearly today. It's over, as it happened at Christmas. Endemic. That's my video. I don't know how many more times you got to say it. Maybe 1 million to smash it home to people. Endemic. Bye now.